Hi, I'm Miles Weston.
And I'm Kerry Phillips.
And this is the Set Piece Podcast,
where we talk about all things to do with football, mental health and well-being. Listen. You see this one here, yeah? I am so gassed and I'm so excited. I've been thinking about this one and I'm just like, how we've got our brother with us, and not just a brother in the football industry, a brother in Christ as well, man. Listen, introduce yourself, my bro. Introduce yourself, because there's so much accolades that I need to start saying. So I want you to introduce yourself first, and then we'll go from there.
I'm cracking up. I just wanted to say thanks for having me, man. Like, this is like, like when little bro is allowed to chill with big bro for the first time. It's like, I don't have to stay in my room tonight. I can come and play PlayStation, PS2 with big bro. But no, my name's Mayowa Quadri, and I am a conversationalist. I work for a platform called Versus. I'm head of brand there. And I love football, but honestly, I'm very happy to be on. It's been a while in the works, so I'm happy. It's good to be here.
And how's your day been? How's your week been so far, I should say?
It's been an interesting week. Yeah. I've been in and out of work because I had jury service.
Oh wow!
The less said, the better. The judicial system in this country is an intriguing thing.
Okay.
But away from that, things are good. We thank God.
Yeah.
It's that time of the year where it gets a bit colder, it gets a bit darker, and you just have to, keep your mind in the right place and keep pushing. But it's been a good year. It's been a good week, so I can't complain.
I hear that.
Love it.
Listen, there's so much that we need to go through, and I don't even think our 45 minutes half time and another 45 is going to actually be enough time. But we'll make it work. So football wise, let's start with football, right?
Let's start with football.
I know you kick ball, regularly. I see you. When I see the Instagram post and I see the boots, I know you kick ball. So when did football become a thing for you? Or how young?
Great question. Football became a thing for me, I want to say, super early on. So I just grew up myself, my mum, and my mum was a football fan. So I was actually born in West.
Okay.
Moved over to South before I was 1, hence the Chelsea link, because my mum came over to the UK, was based in West London, she liked Chelsea. So football was always around. Like, my earliest memories were just seeing football, seeing Chelsea magnets in the fridge, playing football in the house. And especially growing up in South, and being an only child, you'd play with other kids that were older, just played football. So I would say I probably, like, my earliest memories of playing football, like actually playing football, being like in the playground, like reception year 1, just like running around, or my mum complaining, or stories of my mum complaining about ripped trousers and scuffed shoes. So it's always been a thing that's been around me, and especially growing up in Bermondsey next to Mayowa, like, you're just always around it. You're seeing these guys go on a Saturday to play football. You're seeing like Mayowa kits. You're just it's always been around. I can't remember a time where football wouldn't have been around me, basically.
Okay. So I've got to ask the question then. Was it instilled in you that you can't switch over to Millwall? Like, so you had to stay Chelsea because you're seeing all the kits, or was it a decision that you wanted to make, like, I am loyal to Chelsea? Because when you're younger, anybody, I've heard, listen, we've had some guests where they've swayed, like all of a sudden you're finding out that they used to support Arsenal and then all of a sudden they're Man City fans. So we've had some guests that have swayed. What about you?
So is Arsenal and City as well, and it's always that natural progression. For me,
it's nuts.
Like, my mum was a Chelsea fan. I was a Chelsea fan by way of that. But growing up, like, I don't ever remember a time where there would have been a switch. Like, with Mayowa, it was, especially the time I grew up in Bermondsey, it was kind of like Millwall's a bit mad. I went to Millwall games, like, with my neighbours and stuff, but like, Millwall's a bit mad. Like, match day, when we're going to church, we take the long way back. We don't come back.
You have to.
Let them clear out the area, make sure it's not too rowdy, then we come back. So I don't think Mayowa was ever a choice, but switching wasn't really a choice either. And as I got older, like, seeing my identity in Chelsea became much of a clearer thing. Obviously, as I was older, you're seeing all of these like Drogba's, Jeremy, Essien, and you're thinking, these guys are like my uncles that I see in church or like see around, like at house parties. Like, these are like, this is real. Like, I'm seeing these uncles on the pitch, but like, they could legitimately be my uncles. So that kind of made it a more embedded thing as I got older. But even growing up, Autoglass era, you're seeing like Gianfranco Zola, you're seeing like Hasselbank,
Di Matteo and all of them.
All of these mad guys. Exactly. And it's like, this is like mad. Like, so
when was your You said that you went to Millwall games, but when was your actual first Chelsea game that you went to?
My first Chelsea game was not too much late, you know. Like I didn't have the luxury of like going to a lot of games. Millwall was fine because
you're
like,
around the corner.
And everything.
Actually,
but like first Chelsea game was like a FA Cup game when I was probably about like 10. Like I went late on. Like I didn't get to go and see Stamford Bridge proper until late on.
Right.
So I'm not one of those guys that has that experience. So like my first game, you know, I went to and it's like, oh my god, amazing. Like I was going to like Mayowa games and like semi-pro games and whatnot. Then I finally went to like a Chelsea game, and that's why being in the work I'm in now, I never take it for granted when I go to games because I didn't have that luxury and
go and watch them.
Exactly. And things become like normal, but it's not normal to me that you can just go and watch games. And
of course,
I'm very fortunate that like not only can I do that, but when I'm speaking to fans across the world, they're like, you don't know how much I would give to just go and just touch Stamford Bridge. They don't even want to go to the stadium. They just want to touch a sign. And it's like, we're very fortunate that we can rock up and be like, oh, I fancy going to the Emirates today. Who can I give £60 to get their season ticket? So I don't take it for granted at all, man. Like there would have been days I would have wished to go to Stamford Bridge, but no, we thank God it's a thing now for sure.
Confession is good for the soul, right?
Yeah.
Do you want me to be honest with you, lot?
Go ahead.
My first 2 football matches were actually going to watch Chelsea play.
Swear.
So my first ever football match was Chelsea versus Porto in a friendly, and Ruud Gullit made his debut in that friendly.
Oh, wow.
And then my second football match was Chelsea versus Arsenal, and I had to sit in the Chelsea end. And this is because my mum's friend, I call her Auntie Bev, she's a season ticket holder at Chelsea. And she was like, oh, I'll take you to a football match. Now, I supported Arsenal, but Chelsea was the first actual game that I actually attended. And then I had to watch Arsenal when we drew 1-1, I think it was like 1994, 1995. And I had to sit and cheer when John Spencer scored.
I'm not gonna lie, Kerry. I'm so happy that one of the 2 games was Arsenal. If you told me that Arsenal was not one of them 2 games,
it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
You know what I'm saying?
Lee Dixon scored in the last minute.
You might as well transfer to C.
I'm saying what?
No, but you know what? I'll tell you, like Chelsea, I've been at Chelsea games. Like, so when Sean used to play for Chelsea, right? I remember we went to the 1-1 when Flamini scored and then Essien scored that madness. I can't lie to you. That I don't know. I don't know how I never lost potentially my life that day because
you celebrate.
Yeah, because you know it is. My auntie Sharon. You can ask my auntie Sharon. My auntie Sharon was squeezing my leg. Yeah, and she was like, because every chance Arsenal's having, I'm trying not to. But when Flamini scored, I just couldn't help it because Chelsea were at the point where they don't lose home games. They're the best team in the world. Like it was. But yeah. Anyway, confession's good for the soul. But now we're gonna leave. We're gonna leave Chelsea there. We're gonna leave Chelsea there. Oh well, for now anyway. So playing wise. Started off at Cray Wanderers Youth.
So to be fair, because when we asked about this, so like early wise, I played for like a bunch of teams, but Cray Wanderers was like, I would say 16, 17. That's why I put that, because you know when you're playing like 13, 14, 15, if you're not playing for like an academy, all of them teams are just bare teams you're playing for. But I played for like, before that, I played for a team called South Bank. I played for like all of these like local teams, and they were good teams, like Tandridge League, Selkent League, we do all of that and everything. But very early on, and I think like a lot of people are not honest with their journeys. Like very early on, you realize what you can and can't do. Like, and I was a player growing up where everyone was like, he's good, but there's different levels to be like academy good. I had all of the proficiencies. I was a great leader, I was a great defender, but technically, to be at the level you need to be, I didn't have the foundation to compete with some of them, man. Like, some of the ballers I grew up with that didn't make it, I'm like, right, how did you not make it? And I'm like, half of what you are. I probably have a bit more tenacity and a bit more leadership and a bit more vocal, and that carried me. But then when the level playing field is like everyone can be vocal and everyone's a leader and everyone's thing, it starts to show. So like, Cray Wanderers was probably when I was about 15, 16. That would have been before I went to Luton.
Okay.
So long story short, Luton did this like open day trial thing, innit? And you had to be 16 to go. Okay. So they were trying to get people into men's football. So I've blagged and I told my mum, I want to go to this. It's 2 days, it's in Hitchin. So I've gone and like I've played now. You've done your Cooper runs, done all these trials and everything. And like the guy's come to me on the second day and he goes, "How old are you?" And I've gone, "I'm 15. And he goes, "So you lied?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "No, but you're like, I can see like you can lead and whatnot."
Yeah.
So then I got invited to their development thing, and it was one of those things where, you know, the December cutoff, this happened in the summer. Yeah. So I basically had until December to prove that I could be better than anyone in their team to get cut on. Because if you don't get a decision by December, you're not, you've got to start looking. Yeah. So was going up to Hitchin every Monday. And this is when you're doing your GCSE work. Every Monday going up, trainings at like 9 o'clock, taking a train back to St. Pancras, I think it was, and whatnot. Just jogging, thinking, you know what, last chance saloon, like, if I'm going to make sake, it's going to didn't work out. But I learned so much in that time because it was like, like there's other things you can do, or like there's other levels. So after that Luton spell, that's when I started doing like non-league, these like low league stuff. But that's my little like, I nearly made it thing. That Luton, But do you know
6
months at Luton, oh my gosh, I thought I was the biggest baller, bro. You're coming in, you got a training kit. It's like, yeah, man. Yeah, but I've never done day release, but stuff like that, can I leave a bit like 5 minutes early, miss? Because I've got to get the train to Hitch. I thought I was made, but so yeah, I'm not one of those guys that had like the luxury of like being in a fully fledged academy. I had like trials and stuff, but I just never was that.
But you know what? Do you know what? That's a beautiful thing, right? Because what you've shown there is that the power of football in terms of understanding that even though you may not have been at that level to actually make it, there are so many people that are at the level that don't actually make it as well. Yeah. So sometimes when we're telling our stories, like we don't have to be like, we weren't Messi back in the day. Like we weren't.
You know, people embellish their stories.
Like, I would have been, but injuries. It's fine to not have made it.
But do you know? Like I look at it from a different point of view. Because you said that. Like you realized you was a leader and you did certain things, and I believe sometimes the best don't make it, you know.
Yeah, that's the facts.
I promise you.
That's
so
the facts.
Your skill set still could have made you make it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I promise you. Like this is, I feel like, especially back then. Now football's a technical game, and you have to have some sort of technical ability to make it now, because everyone's athletes. Everyone can run. Everyone's strong. But you see, back then when we used to play, you could make it by being fit and a leader. I promise you. Like, do you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. Like, this is what people used to look for. He's fit and he could tackle and he can lead. Yeah. That's what they used to look for. I promise you.
I remember when I was growing up, right, and I was playing for my primary school team, right, and there was a boy named Richard Lewington. I think I may have said this before, but Richard Lewington, right? He was in the middle of the park. He just done the basic things, yeah. Now, obviously, now I understand it. I'm older now, and like I was big back then, yeah. So when I'm scoring goals, technically I'm good to play football, but like, of course, I'm not gonna get picked for the districts because like you're not gonna make it as a footballer, bro. You're big. You get what I'm saying? But I'm looking at Richard thinking, how's Richard always getting picked? Like he's not doing that, but he was just doing the basic things and when you're younger, you don't realize that's what they're looking at, you know, like that's what they're really looking for.
Because you coach a lot of young kids, and like I did a spell where at university I did a lot of one-to-one coaching with academy kids and whatnot. And I always just say the people that make it pro are the people that make the right decision 10 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10 at a stretch. Yep. If you're not able to do that simple thing 10 times out of 10, forget it. Yeah. Because you can have all of the stepovers and everything, but that's not the difference. And like, I'm so grateful that the space I'm in now, when you're speaking to pro ballers and they're breaking down the differences. I remember we had Gabriel Osho, who was at Luton in their Premier League season. Yeah. And I asked him, I said, what's the difference between the Championship and the Premier League? And it was like the decision making and the speed. Like in the Championship, I might look up before I do a crossfield pass and I've got a few seconds. The second the ball touches my foot in the Premier League, if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm collected. And I was like, so, and he's like, yeah, like, or the quality from Trent, like you look at him and think he's never making that pass. But his ability to make the pass and his decision making of when to do it, the ball leaves his foot and you're on your backside thinking, oh my gosh, like the ball's gone behind me. And it makes you realize that, like this, a lot of people are like, these footballers, they get paid. There's a reason why they're getting paid a lot of money.
Of course. And touching on that, for me, what I've learned is the most reliable players are the ones that get picked the most.
Definitely.
If a manager can rely on you and like, you know what, I know what he's going to do.
Yeah.
I know he's going to get past his man and cross. I know when he's 1-on-1, he's going to score. They're the ones that get picked.
Yeah.
Do you know why I'm happy you said this?
Yeah.
Because I, especially with like what I do like day to day, I often have to try and convey what is going on to fans, and fans are by nature the word fanatics. And when you're fanatical about something, you can't comprehend the pragmatic or like normal state of something because you're thinking, why is A and not B?
Real.
But what you said is the reality of football. You're probably thinking, why is X player always getting picked by the manager? And the reason is the manager knows if I ask you to do this instruction,
He's gonna
you're going to do
I'm
it.
telling you.
And you know what? It might get me sacked, but because of what I'm trying to do as a manager, that's why it's happening. But fans can understand that. Fans are like, but this guy's the best player I've ever seen. Why is he not playing?
Yeah.
Because he probably can't follow the instructions.
100%. And you know what? A prime example of that, is Aaron Ramsdale, right? As Arsenal fans, right? A lot of Arsenal fans were so annoyed when we got rid of Ramsdale and Raya came in. It was like, why are we not doing that? But I saw on the sideline firsthand when Ramsdale was uncomfortable with using his feet, he just used to go long, and Arteta used to just get mad, and he's just like, "What are you doing? I don't care about that. I want to do what I want you to do." And I think there's certain players like even if you go back, remember Park Ji-sung?
Madman.
Every big game
He played.
he played.
He had
And
to,
you're wondering,
yeah.
why is Park playing when they've got Nani and they've got Ronaldo? Like, why would you play? But Park knew what he had to do, and Ferguson relied on him. So you're right. It's
got to be reliable.
Yeah.
Because remember, football, listen, it's a short career for one, and the manager's now, what, 9 months? A year max?
And you got what, 8 games?
Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you're a manager, remember it's a results business. So I need to rely on the people I know that's gonna do what I tell them to do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? So that's what it is really, I think.
So when we step away from your footballing career, you went to university.
Yeah.
What was the shift and the transition where you said, you know what, I'm going to step away from actually wanting to be a footballer to be in that footballing space? What was it?
It's a great question. So when I played, I had a lot of like injuries and stuff. Right. So like growing up, part of me wanted to be a physiotherapist. So one of your former guests, Alison, I did a lot of shadowing with her. So when she was at Fisher, I shadowed her in the NHS, and she was like amazing for me in terms of like wanting to be a physio. So like I was a guy that I would treat my own injuries, but I'm treating the mandem's injuries as well. Well, you got a hamstring strain. Let's do this. You might be out for 2 weeks, but don't worry. If you do this 1.5, I was doing all of that because I've always loved football, and I just always wanted to be around football. But also, I say a lot to people that growing up, like I'm quite academic, but I learned more from football than I did my academics. So like football taught me about like economics. I'm seeing transfers, I'm thinking this person's worth this and that. Oh, it's because of value. Football taught me about leadership. Football taught me about conflict resolution. Football taught me about so much that I didn't even realize. And then as I started to notice, I was like, wow, like there's so much that can be taken from here. So in terms of like doing stuff away from the game, like very early on when I knew that, you know what, this professional thing, one, if my body can't hold up, and two, if I'm not at the level of these guys, even though I can lead and whatnot, there's other avenues. The big thing that happened for me was going to uni. I started looking and thinking, hold on, why is it that I can have conversations in the barbershop like this, and I'm having conversations in group chats like this, but when I'm watching stuff, it doesn't represent what we're talking about. And at the time, I was seeing a lot of people that I had grown up with or had seen growing up, their characters and everything, then I'm seeing them on TV do interviews. I'm like, hold on, that's not what you're like. It feels like you're suppressing yourself. And that felt odd to me because it's like, why can't the thing that makes you is you? So why can't you express yourself and be the best you when you're in these spaces? And then in a moment dropped where I was like, oh, it's because the way that they're spoken about and portrayed by quote unquote media isn't conducive to that. And they feel like they have to be a shell of themselves. So like, that's where the coaching started coming in. Because I started thinking about my experiences and the coaches that I'd had. And the best coaches I had were maybe not the best tacticians, but they understood me as people. I always say I had 2 coaches, Alan and Lee. These guys had a team that was based in Brixton and had players from Peckham, Camberwell, Brixton, and they were able to make a family out of that. 2 white guys, and they just understood that every individual is an individual.
Love that.
And one thing that I didn't like about coaching was you would often get situations very similar to the academic system where each person is treated exactly the same.
Yeah.
And like, I've got 11 players in the picture, and I don't want to deal with their individual personality, so I'm just going to treat them all the same. The issue with that is it doesn't work for everyone, and you don't get the best out of everyone. And then you start see people that get either lost in their best, and some people that benefit because they're getting treated how they need to be, and others that are not. Especially when you think about like growing up in South and growing up from the ends, and how one, loads of people are misunderstood. 2, there's so many things that now we'll understand, like ADHD and all these things, but all that stuff wasn't getting recognized.
Facts.
So that's why I wanted to start coaching, because I was like, yeah, I feel like I have the ability to help people, and I could see it. So like when I was coaching at school and stuff, I'm speaking to individuals. I'm being like, okay, listen, you're different from him. That's why I'm speaking to you like this, and that's why I'm trying to help you like this. So like coaching at school, like Ademola Lukeman, I was coaching his school team. Like when he was coming through and, you know, trying to get clubs and whatnot, I remember looking at this guy in Burgess Park and thinking, you are too good. Yes, you are small, but you are like, this is not normal talent. And then the media side, like I said, came when I got to university, and I was like, yeah, like there's a space here to talk, because I'm talking with the guys football and we're laughing our heads off. Yeah. And they're talking about the same thing on mainstream media, but it's not as funny or entertaining. Yeah. And when you see American sports coverage, you're like, why is that like sick and ours is not? And yeah, and I've always had ideas of things of like, well, how can I be involved in football and add value to my people away from the pitch? And I think a lot of it also as well subconsciously stems from growing up. Most of the teams I played for, I was the captain. Again, not the best player, but the stewardship, the leadership, the sort of like looking after everyone and making sure everyone felt seen. And like, it was like, okay, well, how can I continue to make sure that everyone around me feels seen, especially within football? And that's why now, working in the media space, it's great that I'm able to do loads of sick stuff. But for me, that's not the mission. The mission is to make sure people realize that they can also work in media as well.
I love that.
So yeah, in a nutshell, that's why doing loads of different things in football came about. Because it's like, well, there's stuff for us here.
So what was the first thing where you said, okay, cool, I'm going to try my hand in the content creation world and trying to get that? What was the first
podcast? So the first thing we did was a podcast. So a couple of my boys were based back in London. I was still in uni, and then there was a bit where I came back for like a placement year. So we started a podcast. That was full-time podcast. And let me not lie, you know, when I say practice hours, that's what that was. We would like literally meet. The equipment was like dodgy. Like one of my boys, I'll never forget, he was saying, I listened to the pod, but the audio is scratching my ears. It was dark. Like we had to really go through it, but it was practice hours. Like it was learning how to communicate to audiences, learning how to formulate arguments, entertaining but being informative. It was like a great learning platform for me. So we did that for like ages. We got to like 100 episodes of that.
Sick.
Which was great. And then after that, there was a platform called 360 who obviously do a lot of coverage and everything.
Yep.
They had been growing, and they did a call out saying that they wanted to do a show. So I went to this call out, and they essentially from that moment founded or wanted to make 2 podcasts. So one of them, I kind of took the stare on and said, okay, it needs to be like a conversational show about football.
Yeah.
And then the other one was a United show.
Okay.
They called it 5 at the back at the time because United were playing 5 at the back at the time, and there was 5 of them. And then we had stoppage time on one side. That United one ceased to exist, and then Cams, who's now on me with on stoppage time, or as it was at the time, came over. So it was me, Fuad, and him, and then the rest was history. We've been doing that for 5 years, which has now become FCM.
That's big.
That's
big.
Yeah.
And you know what I love about the journey is that, like, as you said, like, I feel like when you speak, you have a presence around you, bro.
Thank you, bro.
And I feel like your leadership skills to now go into this space is so necessary. And I feel like God put a purpose in you for, like, it wasn't football. Like it was through football. I'm going to use you. You're not going to be a footballer. It's through football. So when you're saying that you've got 5 years under your belt now with the podcast now, I'm like, this is normal for you. Yeah. But what I feel like you've shown just through the fact that you didn't make it as a footballer, and you were just talking about like the dodgy equipment and everything like that, is everything is learning, bro.
I was gonna say that.
Facts.
Everything is learning, bro.
Facts.
Because where you're at now, like literally just a second ago, you was helping us with our equipment. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's like you look at it and you think to yourself, wow, like you've gone from that transition to having dodgy equipment to understanding what dodgy equipment is for us to get this working. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so like, listen, we're up front, we're raw, we're raw with that. We was having some issues, we was having a technical issue. Superman Mayowa just came to the bed, just said, no, maybe you want to do this, maybe you want to do that. Like, so,
but you know what it is as well. Like, a lot of people, I wouldn't even limit it to football. I would limit, it's everything. I would say
life.
People want things so fast.
Yep.
Like they don't understand. You got to enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
Facts.
Big facts.
Like
Big
if
facts.
you don't listen, if you don't enjoy the journey, you're gonna be pulling your hair out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that you took the steps to go into the podcast space and continue doing that, like some people just give up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm trying to say? After, oh man, I ain't got no views or I got no subscribers or I ain't got this, and they look at that stuff, but you have to put the work in to get all that stuff. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So they look at the things that they shouldn't be looking at.
Yeah.
They should just enjoy the journey. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's what I got from your story there. You're enjoying the journey that you're on. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I'm not saying it's difficult, but you're enjoying it nonetheless.
Yeah, and for me, it comes down to something that me and UK have spoken about a lot. I think in life, especially as like men, black men, like we go through like transitions where we're asking ourselves like, what is it for? And I think for me, like growing up, I grew up with a mum that always told me, you have the ability to do everything you wanted to do. And at the time it was difficult because I thought it was her way of reinforcing that I should go and do medicine or something. Like I can do it. Like it's not difficult. Like if you put your mind to it, you can do it.
Yeah.
But what I came to learn was that what she was telling me is if I truly feel passionate about something, that I can make the most out of it.
Yeah.
And it always stays with me because it leads to purpose. Like and I came to realize that everything that's happened in my life has been for a bigger purpose. So like I used to get told that I spoke too much in class. I used to get told by my English teacher that I wasn't good at English lit. I remember when I went for my sixth form interview, they were like, if I don't get a certain grade in English, I can't come to the school. And it rattled me. But now here I am working in a space where it's the English language that I'm having to sort of articulate and everything. And it comes from a passion. But the passion or the purpose is about, you know, communicating and bringing people together. So I'm a big believer, like, obviously, as you mentioned, the journey and that and everything, but like the name my mum gave me translates to bring joy. Like Mayowa means bring joy. Alua Mayowa means God has brought me joy. And like from a young age, I would be in the playground with the man then, because we went to all boys school in Peckham, organising debates about who's better than who. Drogba, Henry and whatnot. Obviously, I was always saying Drogba as a Chelsea fan. But it's like I was always I never had one friendship group. I was always floating around different friendship groups and bringing people together. And now I'm very fortunate, thank God, that I'm in a position where my occupation allows me to do that. I'm not doing it because I want to go to football games and whatnot. I'm doing it because I know that football for me was escape. It allowed me to not get involved and mixed up. It allowed me to sort of free myself. Every time I played on the football pitch, I didn't think about anything.
Yeah.
But I also know that that still remains the same thing today.
Yeah.
I go places and like people be like, you don't know how much the pod helps me when I'm on the night shift. And it's like, rah, like this is like real life. Like the glitz and glamour doesn't mean anything. That stuff can disappear tomorrow. The money doesn't mean anything. For me, it's like God is enabling me to fulfill a purpose through something I'm passionate about, which is, you know, for me, a double win. And that's why when you look back on like some of the dodgy nights of like just equipment breaking, or we've done a recording, there's no video, the SD card corrupted, or you film with a guest, the guest now says, oh, we can't put it out because I've got bad form. It all led to something else. And that's the fulfilling part. That's why you can walk around on a smile on your face. So that's why, even though it's long hours or a long slog, it's like, you know, it's for a purpose. So it makes you feel like I will take everything that comes with that now in another lifetime 2 times over, because it's worth it. It's worth something.
Do you know what's beautiful about that as well? And I think for our viewers that listen and hear this, I really want you to take grasp of it. He said that, sorry, he's being rude. Mayowa said that his English teacher said that he spoke too much in class. And imagine now, we now need him to speak more in these spaces because of the fact of what he does. So I'm saying that to say what somebody classes as your downfall, God can use it as your superpower.
100%.
And can be used to for what it needs to be used for. So maybe at the time you might have spoke a lot in class, and maybe it might not have been the right time for you to speak at that time. But with God, it's never no, it's just not yet.
Bro, let me tell you that, like, literally every report card, I said report card like some American. But every like report I would get, like my mom would testify to it. Oh, man was a great student. He dedicates himself so much. However, he has a tendency to talk a lot, and it can be disruptive to others and whatnot. And this leads back to my coaching point. Like at the time, if I think about it, and I understand, like I've got a lot of compassion for teachers, but if that was channeled in a different way,
yes,
I wouldn't have been in a place where I then looked at myself and thought, "Oh, I'm disruptive," because I wasn't. When you're an only child, you don't get to speak to much people.
Yeah,
you speak to the parent you're with, or you probably speak to the walls because there's no one to speak to. So coming to school, when I'm around friends, it was a joyous occasion to be able to talk to people. So yeah, with that, I didn't realize it was a superpower that people, not only that you're talking to people, but people listen and compelled by everything you're saying. Like the people want you to speak, and it's deemed as disruptive, but it's probably helping the other people as well, because more time, you're not just talking about random things, you're talking about work. So yeah, for me, it did feel away a lot of the time where people are like, oh, you're disruptive, you talk too much. But as you're saying now, a lot of the time that can make you go into your shell and not want to talk.
100%.
Like, I've been able to sort of like, again, carve a career out of talking. And I'm not that person I was as well. Like a lot of people, like my mum always says, like, you're very quiet now. Like, yeah, you talk on like where you need to, but away from that, you're very quiet. And it's like, yeah, because it kind of gets beaten out of you. Or talk. But you're right. I feel like sometimes what God has within us can't be suppressed by any force or any person. But you have to know that, you have to trust that it's going to be used at the right time, like you said.
I have to ask this, because now there's so much stuff that Mayowa has done, like, and I'm looking at the amount of stuff now. So we're talking about Wrighty's House with Ian Wright. We're talking about host on match days together with Guinness. Like this is, but the one for me where I'm like, raw, like let's talk about this. Your boyhood club, Chelsea. You love Chelsea and everything like that. Like, and you are the founder of the Blue Creative Fund for Chelsea.
Yeah, man.
That was actually the first time that I actually met you.
Yeah.
At that event.
Yeah.
And how mad is that? And I want you to talk to the people about, like, how did that feel, being knowing that you are like a boyhood fan, and now you're working with the club that you love and what you've created now, because as my nan would say, you talk too much.
It's surreal. Like, I feel like sometimes in life, like you do things, you don't take moments to actually like think about it. And like, as you're saying it as well, like each time I hear it, it's like, wait, hold on, like you've made something with your club. So the Blue Creative Fund is a fund by Chelsea, with Versus, the company I work for, that enables creatives from diverse backgrounds to create something of some sort of creative endeavor. Essentially, the creative space, very much like the football space, is very white, pale, male and stale. And there's not often opportunities for people to do things unless they've got the qualifications or the access. And we know that one, qualifications can be hard to obtain, but two, the access is very, very important. The reason that came about was because I did something called BComs, which is the Black Collective of Media and Sport.
Shout out Leon, man.
Shout out Leon, man. Yeah, and on the whole team there. And what they tried to do is they tried to get more people from our backgrounds into media. So I did that program when it first started, and it enabled me to kind of meet the right people, and the rest was history from there. And they had a formalized sports journalism qualification with Chelsea. So Chelsea already were doing stuff for the community, which is great. But what they were doing there was giving people the opportunity to go and learn for a year in university. And then I remember they asked me to host like an event for them, which was a sick moment. And I really enjoyed it. But typically in my fashion, I kind of looked and thought, hold on, there could be more here. So I spoke to the foundation at the time and I said, this is great, but I know a lot of people that have creativity within them that a formal qualification is not the best route for them. Like, they have ideas, they do things practically, and what happens for them. And it was something that they thought, we've never thought about this before, but it's right, what do we do? And I said, well, okay, let's sit down and think about it. What if you enabled people to come up with a creative idea and you give them the access and the ability and the funding to make that come to life? Because again, not everyone is going to become a journalist. Not everyone's going to become a match reporter. There's so many things that exist. And then they were like, yeah, let's do it. We'll get the money and do it. And I was like, really? And they were like, yeah. And then, so for the first year, they got £15,000 twice for 2 individuals to create ideas. First guy was Shamaka, big up Shamaka. He made a video based called Blue's the Colour, a short film which looked at Chelsea's relationship with race. Now, first things first, the fact that he got to make that with Chelsea, considering Chelsea's relationship with that topic, was mental. And the second one was Becky. She made, I'm actually wearing one now actually. She made a jewelry collection. She wants to be a jewelry creator. She made a jewelry collection with Chelsea, which celebrated community champions, from players to people that work in the stadiums to people that work in the local community. And she made a magazine with it as well. So instantly, the reason why it meant something to me was, again, back to the football thing. If you help someone become a footballer, you're not just helping them, especially from our communities, you've helped the whole family.
100%.
With this, it was like, yes, you're giving £15,000 to 2 individuals, but their friends and families that are going to work on this then also come into the space as well. So Shamaka made a short film, but all of his boys worked on it. They've now all got a credit of working with Chelsea. Becky made this jewelry, but she worked with people to make the magazine. She worked with all of these community champions. So not only are people being championed by her work, she's now closer to her dream. And for me, it was that multiplier effect of what football can do. And the reason why it's surreal is because, like, you have dreams of being on the pitch for your team, like one day walking out and be like, oh my God, yeah, I'm making my debut. Like I said, I knew that wouldn't happen, but to then be the face of like this campaign where I'm sitting in the stadium by myself and like the camera's on me to record this advert, and now on the side of the stadium, we've got Blue Creator Fund there, and it's like, you've left your imprint in some way, shape or form, and it's
100%.
That's
Very
I can't, like, God is so good. I can't fathom what that is. Like, it's mad. I'm taking my mum to games and like, Mum, look, that's the thing that I made of the club, and it's like, it's when I think about it, it doesn't feel real, and like a lot of stuff in a mad way has become very normal for me, and I'm in a season now where I'm like, I'm unlearning things being normal. Like, I'm someone that I'm very grateful for. If you were to give me like a drink of water, I'll be very grateful, because I know that no one has to do anything for me.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. That's real.
But it's like this season of really being intentional, being like, listen, this is not normal, and all of this can go tomorrow. So really understand what's happening, but also use it for the greater good. And like, the first year we had £15,000 for each one. The second year we had 20,000 for 5 people, and all of this culminated with a gallery sort of thing at the Saatchi Gallery. So not only are people getting money to do work, they're then getting their work showed in one of the most prestigious galleries in the world. And it's like, this isn't normal. This is not normal, but I'm grateful. And again, to do it with the club that I love and support, I would have given anything to walk on the pitch at Stamford Bridge and, like, you know, making his debut, Mayowa Quadri from Congo. It wasn't meant to be, but the fact I'm still able to have similar like moments, to have the same impact, it means a lot. It means a lot.
Very big, man. Very, very big.
Trust
me. And this is the thing. We always say this, like, not everyone's going to be a footballer. Not everyone's going to be a physio. Not everyone's going to be a video analyst. But there's so much different things which football brings. That it's so important. Like,
power.
It's powerful. It's community. It is community. And look, your contribution, like, is massive to the club.
Thank you.
It might not be you managing or playing, but you've brought people. You've brought people to Chelsea. You've given people opportunities, and for me, that's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Thank you, man. You said something, and it always stands out to me. Like, I just wish that people realized how much there is in football. Like I said, I can honestly say football's changed my life. Like, it's always been a part of my life. But you know, when you look around that football match, and maybe it's because of the way my mind is, I think to myself, like, all of the little things that are happening, all of the security teams, all of the broadcasting teams, all of the sponsorships and everything. And I think to myself, we think of all of the money that's being played on transfers. Think about the money that's in football. There's so much that like our community can get involved in, and I just wish that people, and that's why I'm so intentional with what I try to do, because I want people to realize that you can be involved in this. Like growing up, I remember watching Dream Team.
Oh, I remember that.
I remember watching
Harchester United.
And then obviously like local South London hero Andy Answer. You start to think about like, you know, the Nike adverts, and like I didn't know what a big time director was.
Wait, Andy Answer was involved in Dream Team?
He was an actor in there.
Yeah.
Of course he was. Oh my days.
But then he starts doing directing for Nike and all these mad adverts and everything. And it's like, growing up, I didn't realize what that meant until it clicked. And I was like, hold on. Like, Andy's a G.
And it's like Andy, man.
Yeah, and I get to tell people now, like, listen, you can be an Andy Answer. Like, you can make amazing things happen. Or like, now, if you think about it, chairman of like, SE Dons, right? He's chairman of a football team. There's so much that you can do within football that is away from the pitch. And it's great that there's so many examples now as well.
Let me just touch on that as well, which just come in my head, sorry. So Andy obviously used to play football as well. But obviously he didn't play to like the top levels. But think about it, with his adverts and that, look at the caliber of players he's
working with.
Do you get what I'm saying?
And he's got Ronaldo adverts.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Facts,
so outside of football, he's managed to work with the top players in the world. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So again, football is not just on the pitch. It can bring you so much opportunity off the pitch. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because the Jamas footballers that will never meet Ronaldo. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Or Messi or Rooney or whoever.
It's bonkers.
And I think as well, like, and this is no disrespect to footballers that have made it but don't make an impact on their club. Let's say, for example, like if I mention the name Sam Dalabona, most people might not know who that person is, right? But he was a Chelsea centre midfielder, and I know that because of Championship Manager. Right? But they will know you for what you've done at Chelsea. So even though he stepped on the pitch and he may have played for Chelsea a few times, like there's a lot of people that don't know who he is. Do you get what I'm saying? So you didn't even have to step on the pitch for people at Chelsea to not know who you are and what you're creating. So I look at that and I think to myself, like, I know you said obviously you had dreams of making it or stepping onto the pitch, but bro, they know you, bro. Like, do you get what I'm saying? You're on the side, bro. Like, I'm seeing you and Kelvin there just chilling and relaxing. And you know what? I said to her, it burns me because sometimes it's my brother, innit? So I'm gonna like it. I'm gonna like it on it's my brother, yeah. But I'm just like, why has he got that shirt on, man? I'm struggling, I'm battling, but it's my brother. He's gonna have it. But I'm so proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
Like, I'm genuinely proud of you.
Thank you.
And let's even go on to the fact that like the awards that you're receiving. Like, let's listen. We're not downplaying anything. We're not downplaying anything with you. So you've got 3 awards in the last year. 3 awards. Would you like to explain, or would you like me to read them out for you? Because I'm more than happy to read them out. I'm more than happy.
Do you know what this reminds me of? You know, like,
go on.
You know, like in church, where the guest minister sitting, the guest minister doesn't make eye contact, and then the home pastor is just saying like, "Listen, we've got a powerful man."
And he's just like, "Look at that." No, we're going to talk about it. Community Culture and Corporate Sporting Icon Award 2024.
Big up Mahari, man. Big up
Football Blacklist Media Winner 2025, and Nigerian UK Sports Award Sporting Icon Winner 2025. My bro, listen. Like, this was all because you're speaking too much. You're doing too much talking. And look where you are, bro. You get what I'm saying? Like,
God, man.
How do you feel with these like awards? Like, because I know we have conversations and I know it's glory to God. But God is working through you, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? How do you feel knowing that you are inspiring next generations, bro?
It's mad because like I have a really weird relationship with like awards. Like for me, and I feel like most people around me would say it, like there's a lot of, not that things don't matter, but like I said, when people ask me what do I want to achieve, and I always tell them it's hard for me to say because the purpose is the purpose. No matter what level it is, that is what I'm going after. Like, I want people to be able to feel like they can do stuff in the space, and I want to live up to my name, which is bringing joy.
Yeah.
So like, I can't define what that looks like in 5 years because I'm so focused on the purpose. So like, with awards, like, it's great to be recognized, but it's not what I set out to do.
Yeah.
And I guess if it kind of reinforces the mission, then great. But more time when these things have happened, like, I've accepted something. We had that moment, right? Accepted, and I came back and we were just chilling because for me it's like, okay, great, cool. But what's more important is the connections I have with people, the fact that we can speak to people and be like, listen, you can do great things. So like, it's been surreal, like, having awards. It's been surreal that people are understanding that your work's doing stuff. But the flip side for me is, even if those awards were not there, the real sort of justification or clarity that things are going right is, like I said, I'm walking somewhere and boss man in the shop is waving his hand. He's going like, listen, like, I really enjoy that pod. Or I'm speaking to like some of the people from back home and they're like, listen, like, you did it, like, you stuck to the course. That's the real sort of like validation for me, because that stuff is so real. Like, it's so real. Like, I remember recently I was somewhere, I won't say where, but like, someone came up to me and they were basically like, listen, you don't understand like how much or how important the podcast is or what you're doing is. Like, I've looked at so much stuff, but I've never related to anything. And the reason why that meant so much is because I remember I've had times where I've not been related to. So for someone to say that about what you're doing, it hits home. So like, to answer the question, like, the awards are great, don't get me wrong. Like, for the CCC awards, Darren Lewis gave that to me.
Yeah.
And Darren Lewis is someone that's done so much for me. I remember sitting in the room with him in Canary Wharf, in a podcast studio similar to this, and he was like, you're going to do big things one day. And that's time where I was still working in corporate. I was still trying to like figure it out and whatnot. And now that's someone that I call like a big brother, and he's handing an award saying like, listen, like, it's your time. That meant a lot. Football Blacklist meant a lot because, again, that's been made by Leon and Rodney Hines. These are titans of the space. That meant a lot. The Nigeria UK Sports Award meant a lot because that's my lived experience. I'm a Nigerian in the UK.
Facts.
And like, I hosted that awards, but to then win an award that night, like, it felt real because it's like your community that's seeing you and recognizing something. So I don't take it lightly, but it's not what I do it for. And it's moments where you're going into schools and like, you see like little kids, their eyes open when they realize, hold on, I can do that. That's what does it for me. Like, a few years ago, I used to do this presentation, right? And I would have a picture of a slide of Homer Simpson. And for those that watch Simpsons, Homer did every single job. Every single job. Astronaut, drove the plow truck, worked in the Quickie Mart and whatnot. And what I used to tell the young people was like, no matter what your experience, what you're doing is, at one moment, like, it can serve you in the future. And the reason why I bring that up is because it's living testament now. Everything I'm doing now, like, there's been a moment where something before benefited that. My oil and gas degree, like, that's benefit me now. Working in retail in River Island, that's benefited me now. Coaching little kids, it's all benefit me now. So like, the awards are great, man. Don't get me wrong, but like, it's the feeling of being in around people and people realizing like, rah, like, this is sick. That's what means more to me.
And you know what? Just before we go into the second half, I want to shout out Mahari, Mexi.
Yeah, big time, man.
And I want to shout out Leon and Rodney. And the reason why is because we'll go into the mental health piece next. But like, I know you don't do it for those, right? But it's so important to have people that can celebrate you.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because sometimes for a lot of people in these spaces, to the world, it seems like you're doing everything, but to you, it feels like you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's those spaces where we've got our heads into where it's like, oh, I should be doing more. I should be. And that in itself can affect some of our mental health.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I want to big them up because although you know you're not doing it to be celebrated, you should be celebrated.
100%.
Like, whether or not you want to be, you should be celebrated, and people should be able to see who's doing the work, what's doing the work. You don't do it for that. And just by you being celebrated, you're actually pushing and showing the younger generation that it is possible. So when they see you, on the side of Chelsea. They're like, raw, it is possible. And because of the fact of the person that you are as well, how much of a reliable person you are, right? Your leadership qualities and how embracive you are, right? It's going to allow them to think, raw, like he's talking to me. You don't realize how these younger generations, they're very, very impressionable. So just seeing somebody that looks like them, that's a representation of them, and then they can actually speak to you, bro. This is why you need to be celebrated, my bro.
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. Even to add on to that, as you were saying it, like the one thing I've definitely loved about all three of those as well is like there's no place like home, right? Like home is like your community, it's your safe space. And like the nature of all of them awards, like, bro, we spoke about it. CCC Awards.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best things I've ever gone to, man.
Yeah.
Like, when it was time for food, they brought like the jerk fresh from the pan, like big spoon serve and whatnot. And the reason why I bring it up is because like if you're gonna be celebrated anywhere, let it be celebrated amongst
your own.
Yeah,
facts.
And like I said, I don't do it for that, but to be in a room where there's people I look up to.
Yeah.
Like there's a guy called E-Man, the Man Effect. Like he probably thought I was like, who the hell is this? I run up to him, it's like, bro, you don't understand. I'll watch your thing like every week. Like the fact that not only you're spitting gems, but you're spitting gems and talking about God, like means so much. Like there's so many people that I looked up to in the room. So to be celebrated by that does definitely mean something. It's being celebrated by home and your community is special. Like, that's what I'd say. Like, again, the biggest takeaway from all three of those was the fact being in rooms where the people celebrating you truly mean something. That's special.
That's dope. Well, listen, we're going to take a short break and then we'll be back with the mental health section. So literally we'll take 5 minutes and we will be back. For anybody out there that may have heard something in the first half, you might be struggling, you might need that safe space, you might need that support. Feel free to contact the numbers that we've got on the screen here. Like I say, we always talk about basically encouraging people to speak. So those are the numbers there. Get in contact, find that help. Yes, people, we are back with the second half of the Set Piece podcast. So we've had some conversations about football. We've had conversations about your legendary status at Chelsea. We've had conversations about your legendary status in the world, bro, right? Now I've got to ask you, we go on to our second half, which is the mental health and well-being side of things. And a question that we always ask our guests first and foremost is, what does mental health and well-being mean to you?
What does mental health and well-being mean to me? I think mental health and well-being means like the state you're in. Like we often ask people like, how are you doing? And everyone goes, yeah, I'm fine. But like the real answer to that is your mental health and well-being. Like I have a thing where my mum will ask me, how am I? I'd be like, my default answer is, I'm just tired. And then it took me a long time to realize that no, that's not actually how I'm feeling. There's something below how I'm feeling that I'm not talking about. And I think that's your mental health and your well-being. That state of beyond the initial response, how are you? That's where it is. And I think a lot of the time, I think naturally a lot of people operate from a deficit because of how life is. Like you're giving so much, you're doing so much. But being in a better place, that's when your well-being is like good. Because let's face it, like life can be tough.
Yeah.
Cause he lives is mad. Like the political climate, socio-economical climate we live in is hard. There's a lot that can weigh on your shoulders, but I think it's also important to work on your mental health, on your well-being. I think loads of conversations happen around this, right? And I think a lot of people kind of like, okay, well-being, mental health, boom. But it's like, well, you can do things to incrementally make sure you're in a better place. I'm not saying that you have to be like bouncing off the walls, but how do we make sure that as communities we're in better places?
Yeah,
that's what stands out for me for sure.
So we've had footballers on here, we've had physios, we've had coaches all on here, and mental health in football is real.
Yeah.
And I know that there's also the side of it from even content creation.
Yeah.
Having to continuously post.
Yeah.
Having to continuously be relevant.
Yeah.
Having to continuously be out there and be up to date with the topics and stuff like that to make sure that you're staying relevant.
Yeah.
How does that affect your mental health and well-being, especially when there's certain situations that you don't agree with?
I'll tell you the biggest one, right? The biggest one for me is when you're in a space that is essentially entertainment, and this is something that I love, football. I'm at a place where, and I think footballers often speak about this, where like I love football. Football is work. So, and a lot of football is like my lived identity experience. So naturally, you want to switch off from something that you love, or that's work, right? And it can be very difficult because everyone else around you doesn't understand that it's work, whether it's something that, going back to what we said earlier, fanatical about. So there's times where like, I don't want to speak ball. I just want to be like assimilated into like whatever the rest of life is. But you're providing something for people and they love it. So they still want to talk about it. So it becomes like an overbearing thing that's always on. And that sometimes is very difficult for me to navigate because you're providing something that is truly meaningful to someone. But you don't want it to become everything that you are, because it can become a very dangerous place. Often you speak to footballers and footballers will be like, listen, I love football and whatnot, but football is a job. Like I have to get to a point where I disassociate from this, because once I leave the pitch, like I'm a person beyond the footballer. And it's similar on this side of it, like away from sort of the podcast and interviews and whatnot, there is still my word of person. And it's how do I sort of draw the line and then become that, that can be very difficult. That can be very, very difficult.
I said this myself previously about separating like football from your life. So I used to, basically, if we had a bad result, I used to just take it home and be down, or if you have a bad performance and taking it back to your kids and your wife and stuff. And I had to learn how to just leave football at football. I promise you, like, it's not easy to do.
It's not.
But I had to learn how to do that, because it's not fair on the people around you when, because you've had a bad game or your team's lost, you're taking that energy back home and you don't want to play with your kids or you don't want to speak to your wife. They ain't done nothing to you.
Facts.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? So obviously the older I got, I had to learn, listen, I've got to leave football at football. When I go back to football, we can pick it back up. But I'm not going to let football mess up the rest of my life because of a result or a performance that I've put in. I'm not saying that I'm not going to deal with it, but I'm not going to let it affect me and affect the rest of my life, because I don't feel like that's fair. Do you know what I mean?
So, it's the whole process of I'm going to butcher this word, compartmentalizing different things, right? It doesn't mean that you don't care because you're disassociating for a moment. I think if anything, it probably makes you better at it. So when you're giving your attention to something, you can give everything, and then you can switch off for it and then give everything to something else. I think when something's always on, it can become a drain. And you won't know the amount of footballers at any level that say that they're tired of football, football's long. You speak to especially former pros and they're like, yeah, I'm so happy I'm out of the game. And it's because football was everything. Every second of their life was football. And I know it's slightly off piece, but it's why I care so much about academy players, because I've seen so many players go into academy system and football becomes their identity. And when they're either released or football's no longer anything, you see it break them, because it's become everything. And I think that happens a lot in content, happens a lot with footballers. And it's like, how do we disassociate so that the individual who you are is just as important as the sort of persona that you are? Because don't get me wrong, football's amazing. It's great. You meet people, you do amazing things, but football to many people is life, but there is more to life than football too. Like I have interests outside of football.
Of course.
I have things I care about outside of football. If I solely just stay within football, I'm doing myself a disservice, and 100%. I can't be the best version of myself. And that's the thing. It's hard. Like, especially like I said again, like once you finish recording, in your head you feel like you're done. But then when you're seeing people, you still have this like for you after you finish your game. Like if you're seeing fans, you can't just be like, you still have to engage and everything.
I was gonna even touch on that. Imagine that you don't even play and you still have to talk to people.
Yeah.
Like you might be annoyed that you didn't even come on.
Yeah.
But you still have to give your energy. You have to still be respectful. But inside you're just eating you up. Oh, I done all the warm up. I done everything. I didn't even get no minutes.
Yeah.
But you still have to go and engage with. It's tough, you know. Like I'm telling you, mentally, like it's so tough. And I know that it's not just football, but in the football space, like it's when you take in all of the things you have to kind of do and you have to deal with, it's a tough.
I was going to give an
environment.
example. So like I've done a lot of stuff, as you mentioned, with Righty, right? And like Righty's like a superhuman, one of the most amazing individuals I've ever met. And ultimately, like someone who's as Ian Wright, you can't switch off from being Ian Wright. You can't. And it's always amazed me how much grace he moves with. I remember it was before the World Cup, before everyone flew out. Reece Nelson was opening a football pitch in Aylesbury, South East London. And he asked Righty to come down and be like a guest of honour to open it for him. And usually Righty comes down with his manager, Roscoe. On that day, like he didn't. So it was just Reece Nelson, Righty. I was there for St. Else, but obviously me and Righty are cool.
Yeah.
This guy literally stood in the playground and was with all the parents, all the kids, everyone, not in a rush to go. And it was like, yeah, you can't, the only time you can switch off from this is when you're in the comfort of your home.
Yeah.
But any moment you're out, same thing, we went to the O2 once, it was a Stormzy show. We came up the lift and I promise you, all the way to where we were sitting, he stopped for everyone. And I remember I was like, how do you manage it? And he was like, listen, like when I'm away from this, like I switch off from it. But I feel like it's only right that when I'm in it, I give everything. And that's when it hit me. It was like, it might seem like it's overbearing, but he's given everything because he knows it's important. But away from it, he switches off. He gets to take off similar to how like someone that's a doctor, when they're in the hospital, let's say it's King's College, they wear the outfit and whatnot. As soon as they get home, they get to hook it up. With footballers, it's a bit more difficult, but you have to have that space where not only is the kit taken off, the persona of XXX, the footballers, stripped off, and you get to be your true self. And yeah, for me, it's the disassociation that is. It's a lot better now, but it's a very difficult thing for sure.
Have you seen firsthand, even just like friends, family, not just football, but even in the world that you're in terms of like the media space?
Yeah.
Have you seen it break people because of the fact that it might just be negative comments? It might be things of where they're like, do you know what, like Rob, people don't rate me. Like,
yeah, I've seen it a lot. I think one thing that I always preach is that social media is not real. It's not a real place. Like everyone should go outside and touch grass. But because you see so much, especially when you're so entrenched in it, you can form real opinions in real time. And I've seen a lot of times where people feel that their identity and persona is based on what's being said.
yeah,
These people don't know you.
yeah,
Yes, you are serving a community online and providing the products, but this is not real life.
yeah,
What you're doing does not define who you are or your purpose or your being. And I always say it's super important, especially for anyone who wants to get into the space. Like what you're seeing, those comments, all those things don't define you.
yeah,
Especially when the algorithm and how this space has been curated is that you see more negativity than positivity.
yeah,
You can't allow yourself to be defined by that. And I think that's why it's super important. I've seen it to the worst of people. There's been times where I'll be honest, like I've read comments and someone will be like, oh yeah,
I was gonna ask
this guy doesn't represent Chelsea well. What kind of fan is it? And I'll be like, bro, like, what did I do? But you can't allow these things to, and don't get me wrong, it's words have power. We say all the time, there's power in the tongue, but you can't allow these things to define who you are. Like you just can't, because the second you play those games, you enter a dark hole that is very difficult to come out of. And that's why I also think it's very important that, especially the generation growing up today, like they have people that enable them to be sure of who they are, no matter what. No matter what a YouTube comment says, no matter what an Instagram comment says, no matter what a supposed fan says. Like even football, going back to footballers, like just because someone doesn't think you're a good player doesn't mean that they have an opinion of who you are as an individual. The second that you feel like your image of yourself is compromised, it's the beginning of the end. Because it's a long ladder to climb back up from.
I even go one more than that. Even if a manager don't think you're good enough, there's gonna be a manager that does. You know what I'm trying to say? I always say that, like, football's a game of opinions. Just because one don't like you, don't mean the other's not gonna like you. And you see that all the time. That's why players move to different clubs. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And some thrive there, and they go somewhere else and thrive. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So it's opinions, and I feel like people are entitled to their opinions. They can say what they want, and as you said, like it's for you to not take on board what they're saying. They don't know you. They just know that you're a footballer and they see you play. Like, so they might say, "Oh yeah, I don't rate him as a footballer," but you can't say I don't rate him as a person.
Big facts.
Doesn't know you. They don't know you. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Have you always had that mentality, or did you have to learn to adapt in terms of like looking at the comments and just ignoring them, or have you always had the mentality of whatever, they don't know you?
It's a great question. So I'm very fortunate that I grew up at a time and we're around the community and the mindset that I've always been very social media savvy. So the first big thing for me would have been Bieber, then Facebook. And like even then, I've always known that you can't get too entrenched in these things.
Yeah.
So like periodically back in the day, I'll take absences from it, or I'll look at it and I just don't be too absorbed by it. And even now, like vanity metrics don't mean a lot to me. Like I'm the type of person where I don't care how many comments or something's getting and whatnot. Like that's there. Like people want to play games with like stuff like that. It doesn't mean anything to me. For me, again, because I'm so focused on purpose and impact, I know that stuff's intangible. That stuff is the conversation happening. It's not going to show up in the report at the end of the month from Meta, etc. And because I've been like that for a long time, it's put me in good stead. But I won't lie and say that there's not been moments. I think one of the key things that helps me sort of like change my brain chemistry to a lot of this is you go somewhere and someone will be like, "Oh, I really mess with what you're doing and whatnot." And then you think to yourself, or they'll be like, "Oh yeah, this is me." And then you're like, "You're not following me." It's like, so you're watching, but you're not following. And it's like, there's more of that than there is of the negativity. And again, like it's a shame that we're in a world that thrives on negativity, where you're going to see the negative more than the positive. But if you're seeing a lot of negative, the chance is there's more positive out there. It's just that 100%. It's not programmed to see it. And 100%. When you receive that positive and hear that positive, you hold on to it, because it's easier for someone to criticize something than it is for them to praise something. So when you're getting that praise, it means that you're doing a really good job. Like you should hold on to that. So but it is difficult, man. Like honestly, like I've seen, especially social media, like some people come, some people go. One of my favorite quotes is, "We'll see who's here for the long run." And the reason why I say it is because a lot of people have seen what can happen when things go right in these sort of spaces. Like, you know, you might become a bit famous, you know, make a bit of chicken change and whatnot. So they go after it for the wrong reasons. Whereas the people that are here for the long run, they don't really care about the vanity of it all. They're serving something bigger. Like I was mentioning before we started recording, Robbie Lyle. Like the reason why I've got so much respect for Robbie Lyle is he's essentially gone from being laughed at for documenting the experiences of fans, specifically fans from his community, to now essentially having one of the biggest broadcasting machines in this country that's all self-built. Because he's doing it for a bigger purpose.
Facts.
And that's why he's here for the long run. There's been loads of fan channels that have come and gone. There's been loads of people that have picked up the camera and dropped it by second week. But he now has a machine that's running, self-sufficient, self-funded, because of his bigger purpose or what he's aiming towards. And I always tell people, like, anyone can form an opinion. There's loads of people forming opinions online, but why are people gravitating to other people? Or why are people here for longer than not? And it's because of what they're trying to do. And you can feel it, like, especially the younger generation now. I think they're so savvy about anything. They know when they're being sold to and when they're not. So yeah, but it's not an easy place to navigate social media. Like, it can take its toll. It can take its toll. You see a lot of, it can be a very dark space. Footballers say that football is a very lonely space because a lot of the time you're by yourself. The social media element can be a very dark place. There's a lot of negativity. A lot of the stuff that thrives is negatively conscious. Like, it's, oh, let's speak bad and stuff. And it's like, I don't want to be around all of that. Like, it's getting numbers, but I don't want to partake in the games where it's like, let's make the most noise and be negative and benefit from it. So navigate that is always interesting.
So a question for you then. So correct me if I'm wrong. So FCM's been going for 5 years?
5 years,
5 years now, right? And it's constant recording.
Yeah.
Constant recording. I know there's going to be times where, and obviously we're not going to talk business or anything like that, where you maybe turn up to a session and either you're going through something,
Yeah.
or your co-hosts are going through something,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know, but it's time to record.
Yeah.
And normally as man them, we just about say, oh yeah, we're good. We get on with it. How have you guys created a space that, you know what, like, whether we're done or not, like, we'll record, but we're going to make sure that we check in on each other?
This is a great question. And I think the nature of what the show is that it's supposed to be like man them kicking it.
Yeah.
And I think when you think to the basics of any sort of group chat conversation you have about football, it's a freeing experience because you're kicking it with people that you really care about.
Yeah.
And it's a vehicle to sort of talk about other things after that. Like, now that everyone, all 20 people in the group chat are online and whatnot, we've kicked it. Or how is everyone? That's what the podcast feels like. I've often said to those guys, like, the 2 hours I get to spend them each week is therapy.
Yeah.
Because similar to a football
Love
match, I don't have to think about anything apart from just
that.
having fun with my friends.
Yeah.
And afterwards, we might actually get into it. Like, okay, what's actually going on? There's been times where, like, we'll be real about, listen, this week, like, I'm not at 100%. I'm going to need you, man, to carry me.
Yeah.
And you're cracking it. You're having jokes. It doesn't feel like work. And afterwards, the man them can just have a chat and whatnot and checking each
Love
other. And I
that.
think that's why, because it's always been that.
Yeah.
It's always enabled a space where even if you're not feeling 100%, like, you're safe and you're catered for and you're good. And then, like, if we need to have conversations, you can have conversations. And most importantly, the people that are watching may not even know that's what's going on. And it's really weird because people often come up to me and be like, the podcast is therapy for them, but they don't realize that me speaking is therapy for myself. Like, I don't have to think about everything going on for me. I can just sort of talk about something I enjoy with people that I care about. And I think that's the beauty in what we've created. It's all serving. And don't get me wrong, as soon as the microphone turns off sometimes, you have to dissociate. It's okay, I've done that now. Cool. That allowed me to not think about something for 2 hours. And now I need to get back to fixing my problems and whatnot.
Facts,
but the fact that that space exists is super important. There was a period where I wasn't recording for a little bit. Like, it affected me because it was like, I don't have my weekly sort of like,
therapy,
just exactly. So that's how we've navigated it. Like, I remember there was 1 week, last season, we were all going through it. And funny enough, we were all going through the same sort of thing.
Right.
And it was like, and we were all like, hold on, how are we all going through this?
Yeah.
And we laughed about it. We recorded a podcast. We had a conversation afterwards. And it was like, okay, you know what? It's good. Like, the podcast feels like the perfect icebreaker. Because, talking football is, even if your team's getting bantered, it's kind of like, well, what can I say that backs my team up a little bit? It's a freeing space. And I still get to play 7-a-side, 8-a-side, 11s where I can, and football still remains that for me. But a lot of people don't have that experience of playing football or being a kid again, but the debate allows them to. So that's why I would say it's important for sure.
And the reason I ask that is because I feel like what we try to get across with this podcast is how much more football is a community than just 11 men and 11 women kicking a ball either side and kicking the ball into a goal. It's bigger than that. Do you know what I mean? It's so much more deeper because you got to understand that, like, when life is really going through things, it might just be that 90 minutes that you're watching or that hour podcast that you've got on. And it's that changes the whole mood. It changes the mindset. It changes the shift of it. Do you know what I mean? But like, this is why sometimes, like, don't get it twisted. There are some crazy podcasts out there. There are some incredibly, mad podcasts out there. But I'm starting to realize now that, like, although not everybody should be given a microphone, everybody should be given a platform. And the reason why I say given a platform is because, you know what? I don't know what therapy you're getting out. The problem I have with the platform, though, is just making sure it's the message that's being sent with it. And I feel like if you have your platform based on opinions, like, have your opinions, but it's just how you translate that. Do you get
I'm being
what I'm saying?
responsible with it as well.
100%, because there's so many people that are watching and looking up to you. Do you get what I'm saying? So with that being said, I need to ask you, how do you focus on making sure that you're providing content that doesn't affect your integrity, when you was just speaking about how negativity is really one of the key things that come up on the algorithms and stuff like that, but there's so much positive stuff? How do you make sure that you don't lose that in that space?
It's a great question. for us as a pod, one thing that I've always said and stand by is that I want it to be a representation of, you know, our lived experiences.
Yeah.
So like we're going to talk, but also I know what it looks like when people are just slandering people. And at the end of the day, in most instances, we don't know who these people are. We don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
True.
But also, I always said I feel a role of responsibility, especially when it comes to black players, to protect them and speak real.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, mass media doesn't do that for them.
Yeah.
I think back to the Raheem Sterling and Phil Foden situations. I think back to so many situations where it's like, well, if we had the right voices in the room, we'll be able to say, but you're not taking into account X, Y, and Z. And that's why we're very intentional to make sure that we're not doing stuff for clickbait and whatnot. And I think what happens is people look at stuff and look at opinions and be like, well, that is this. But yeah, you can form an opinion, but that doesn't mean that you're doing it to kind of like troll or something. Like we're very, very, very specific with that.
Yeah.
It's not how we want to grow a platform. And there's ways of getting across your message in an entertaining manner that don't have to be disrespectful or stuff like that. And I think that's the key part as well, because I say at the end of the day, and I've been big on it, I've written pieces about it, I've said it, I've done it in interviews. These footballers are human beings.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
You don't know what's affecting their mind state. I will never forget when Jermaine Defoe was speaking about someone passing, how football was escapism for him.
Yeah.
And how it just allowed him to concentrate. I'll never forget when there's a footballer that came out recently and was saying that, listen, like, my wife's just given birth. Like, I'm learning and adapting. I have to still come out and fulfill my job.
Yeah.
Also, I mentioned the thing about fanatics before. If most football fans realised what it was like to play on the pitch, they would have different opinions about football. I will never forget, 2 years ago, I had the opportunity to play a match at Old Trafford. I was wearing captain's armband. I walked out, I was like, yeah, you know, cool and whatnot. I was playing centre half. First thing I did, I opened up my body. I was like, let me try and crossfield ping. I promise you the ball didn't even reach the halfway line. Them pitches are big. Yeah. So now add big pitch, 60,000 fans, the weight of the world on you. I promise you, not everyone can be a professional footballer. I promise anyone listening, it is not at any level. Like, if you credit any sort of professional in any work of life, credit footballers. It is not an easy occupation.
Yeah.
Even small things like footballers being able to play the amount of games they play in a week. Yeah. Like, people don't realize that there's a reason why athletes are athletes, because their bodies can withstand it. They've had to train. You've running for 90 minutes and then playing, like, Wesley, bro, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Bro, I'm telling people, it is not easy.
And traveling on top of that.
It is not, and functioning as a normal human being, but then an elite environment.
100%.
It is not easy.
And this is why, you see, like, I don't downplay anyone's profession, because like what footballers can do, they can do, but we can't do what other people can do as well. So I don't downplay what other people do. Like working in the office, I don't think I could do that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to downplay that. But you see, as you said, when it comes to physical fitness and stuff like that, like a 90-minute match, like I don't care if it's Sunday league, semi-pro, pro, to run for 90 minutes is mad. Bro, like, I'm telling you,
walking on a treadmill
for 90 minutes
incline,
is mad. Yeah.
At 30 minutes is nuts.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah? So running for 90 minutes, is crazy for me.
And then think about it. You're not just running, you're jumping, you're turning. You got to think about tactics. You got to track your man.
Decision making.
Do you know what I mean?
So it's a lot going on.
There's so much going on. And as I said, this is why for me, I don't never downgrade or discount anyone that's made it to football or plays football, because it's hard, bro. It's not an easy thing to do. So whether you're playing Sunday league, you're playing vets, you're playing professional, semi, I commend you. Because it's not an easy thing. And obviously you get to the highest level, that's when the elite is there. That's why they're the elite, because they do it the best. But still, like, even vets, like, we got loads of friends that play vets football. That's them getting their fitness in. Trust me. It's still a 90-minute game. Do you get what I mean? It might not be the same pace,
but it's still 90 minutes. And don't get me wrong, like, you, of course, like, you form opinions and be like, he could have done this better, he could have done better. But like, throughout everything I've done, I've always like made it a point to be like, listen, this is just coming from my opinion, and it doesn't mean that, it doesn't take away anything that individual's doing. Like, I'll put it this way. Recently, like there's been a lot of talk in terms of like Chelsea about like players and whatnot. And I always position my conversations relative to the situation. So like with Chelsea, it's like you can tell that the level of quality is not of what they want it to be at the club, and that's why it's breaking down sometimes. That is not taken away from the footballers. You still have to be high level to even be in the conversation to do that. But at every level, there is another level. And also at their level, they're at a level where they're being entrusted to do things at a high like caliber. Therefore, when things go wrong, it's glaringly obvious. That doesn't mean that they're bad people. That doesn't mean that like, you know, that they can't do it. But you're seeing how it breaks down in real time, and it's fine to have comments about that. But I don't like when people are like, oh, this person should have never made it professional. What? Do you know how much it took them to get there? No one's a professional by mistake. If you're making it in the pro game today, you're not professional by mistake. It's either you have a skill set or you have an aptitude that you're able to display at a high level. Like it's not like podcasting, like where we can just pick up and do this. You can't pick up football and just do it, you know.
Listen, but remember, millions of people want to be footballers. You ask most kids now, girls and boys, what do you want to do? Most of them say football.
But do you know what I mean? But you know, it goes back to what you just saying, that anyone can pick up a podcast, but it's what are you doing with that podcast? And I feel this is why, with regards to like with yourself, what we're talking about in terms of like how you guys put football out content, and you basically, you're actually providing a platform that will help people to understand it from a different perspective. Do you know what I mean? Because rather than it just being a thing of where like, and I'm not downplaying any other podcast, like, where it's just like literally you'll have some fans that are just chatting negative stuff about get him off or get her off and she's this and he's that. Like, you guys are looking at it from a different perspective, and I think it's needed, because it's one of those ones where you start to form unconscious biases, and then that's where we get the hate and the negativity, where it goes from you've had a crap game to you black this, you've had a crap game. Do you get what I'm saying? The reason I'm putting this into the equation is because I remember you at Versus, you put out a piece with the Noni Madueke situation. And I remember reading some of the comments, right? And some of the comments were very, very negative about why you did this. Right? Why is it important that at Versus you are able to put out this sort of content, whether people or not think it's not right or not? But why is it important for you as a brand to do that?
For me, the simple answer is because I know how it feels. And two, like I said, when I came into the space, it was like I've seen the effects of people I know not feeling represented or protected. So why would I enable that to continue being a thing? So like with the Noni Madueke situation, I've had the luxury of speaking to Madueke, interviewing him and stuff. This is someone that is, you know, comes from a good home, well-travelled, left home young to go and pursue his dream, you know, got to private school on a scholarship because of his skill set and whatnot. Then you're seeing something where he's being sort of equated into like Mandem FC, which is one already like a stereotype that's negative. It's basically people trying to like reinforce like really harsh words, but like in a nice little packaging. But then furthermore, like you've not even given someone a chance. And for me, the reason why it means a lot is because, again, that's bigger than football. How many times have we been somewhere where someone's either like someone's cast judgment on us before we've even kicked a ball or done something? Or you're not fit for the job because you haven't got this degree, or you can't do this because you grew up in this area. And it's like, no. Like, so for me, like the reason why as a platform is important is because those conversations are bigger than football. It's a way of opening someone's mindset that, okay, well, I may have judged Noni Madueke wrong as a footballer, but outside of football, where else am I doing this? And that's why it's important, because again, I always say that football is a global language. You can go anywhere in the world, and even if you don't speak the same language as someone, you can speak football. That's what those pieces are important about. It's like, well, especially for a younger audience, they may not be fully aware of what's going on in the world, but if we can educate them through football about something, then we're doing the right thing, because that's what football did for me. And it made me learn about the world, and this is a way of giving it back to them.
And I have to ask, and I'm hoping that it is the answer that I'm going to look for. Have you been in spaces where, coming from this in the media industry, where you've been judged straight away
Big
and
facts.
then not given the opportunity.
Big facts. Yeah,
And
100%.
why you're an advocate as more because of
100%.
And have you got any stories, not obviously to mention brands or anything
Yeah.
like that, where it's like how did you overcome that? Because I think some people think that mental health is also just like depression, anxiety and stuff like that, but it's also about trying to pick yourself up when somebody potentially tells you that you're not good enough, and you know that you are good enough. Like, how do you turn that battle around? You know what I mean, in your own head?
It's great. So for me, like, I've always said that I want to be like authentically like myself. I don't want to compromise or conform to any sort of ideology for the sake of being in a room. So like at the time I started like sports media and stuff, like I was growing my locks out, spoke the way I spoke, and a lot of the time people were like, so like mainstream media and whatnot, it's kind of like that's over there. This is not what we do here. That's like, you know, this online world and everything. But as time went on, especially like with my interview stuff in particular, I think what people were realizing was what I'm able to do and the connections I'm able to build and the way I'm able to do it, you can't do unless you've lived this life, unless you've walked in these shoes, unless you understand. And I think there's been a real awakening in media in general where there's an understanding now that if you want to tell stories, you have to let them be told by the people that can tell them the best. I will never forget, there was a moment where I went to this event and Troy Deeney was saying that he had a smile on his face when he saw JD Dyer, who's now in the States, in the mix zone, because he's not used to seeing black people in the mix zone. And he was able to give better answers and just be free. So I feel like things and attitudes specifically towards me changed because they started looking beyond what they were seeing and started looking at what they were hearing. There's been interviews of things I've done where people are like, oh wow. Like I remember when I did Colin Kaepernick came back to the UK for the first time post everything that happened in NFL, and I did sit down conversation with him and everyone was like, we've not heard him speak like that before. And it's like, well, because I'm able to relate to him in a way
100%.
that is very different to what most people can speak to him about. We spoke about fatherhood, we spoke about, you know, like the plight that he'd been through, and he was just so candid with it and captured the room as he does, but in a different way. A lot of that comes because, again, like my practice hours or my, you know, input to this isn't from a textbook. It's from speaking to my friends in the playground. It's from being in the barbershop and being the youngest person there, but listening to people and waiting my turn and being able to give my input. And there's some things that you just can't like dismiss. Like I don't think you can dismiss real skill. You can't dismiss talent. And I think for a long time, I didn't think I was talented. I just thought like I was like, you know, talking and swing. But I've come to realize, no, that's a God-given gift. And like, if God has a plan for it, it's going to shine. There's nothing that you can do to stop it. So that's why, like, there's been times like I've definitely been shunned. Like I'll look at stuff and it's like, okay, like people definitely don't want to give me a look, and that's fine. Like within no time, things will make sense, and that's why the podcast growth is so important to me, because we did it like our way. Like that podcast is so authentic to the core. Like there's been times when we've turned down collaborations with mainstream media because it's like, well, if we can't do it the way we want to do it, we'll be compromising on what we believe. And people have looked like, you want to turn this down? And it's like, well, like if it's not going to be what we intended it to be, then why are we doing it? And I think that's how you're able to sleep at night. I think that's how you're able to sort of like maneuver, because you're being true to it. If you're going to be fake with it, people are going to see through the cracks. Eventually you're going to make a mishap and the real you is going to ooze out. So yeah, that's it.
And you know what? I think it's testimony to what you're speaking about. And I think, you know, that I think it was Getz that said that people listen to music with their eyes, right? And sometimes it's a lot of the fact that a lot of people are looking at because how many views it's got, it sounds like a good song. And more time it's like, no, we was given the ears to listen for a reason and cast your own like opinion and form your opinion on the song based on what you hear, not necessarily how many views that it's got. And I think you providing a platform now where we can actually look at what you guys are doing, and all the other content creators out there as well, all of those in the media spaces that are actually representative of us. It's like it's like, for example, when I used to go into the schools, right, I'd wear a tracksuit one week, I'd wear a suit the next week, wear a tracksuit, And I'll never forget it, when I was wearing the suits, they used to say to me, "Oh, sir, what you say? You going to court?" Yeah. But it was like, I was saying to him, no, I'm just showing you how to adapt.
Yeah.
I'm just showing you that, listen, I can still be with you and I can talk the same way with you when I'm in a suit.
Yeah.
But I can wear a tracksuit.
Yeah.
And it's about me saying to them, like, don't be afraid to show who you are.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of that. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's so important for spaces like yourselves and even the spaces, as you mentioned, that Robbie's created as well, because you got to think about it, like, just being real with you. Maybe 20, 30 years ago, Robbie's not getting in these spaces. Like, they not like...
Up until 4 years ago, they were still trying to shut him up. Like,
how mad is that?
I remember when there was a real concerted effort by like Sky Sports at the time to try and suppress AFTV and make them look like the bad guys.
Yeah.
And I think what people won't realize was, that was an attack on AFTV, but that was an attack on sort of the creators, because that's what AFTV represented. It represented real voices and people kind of doing it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And sometimes what I think specifically like our community, what they don't realize is the thing you might be demonizing might be the thing that's trying to help you. Like,
yeah, it's real.
If Robbie and AFTV was to be like demonized and suppressed at that time, the whole creator economy could have been affected, because if they can take down Robbie, they can take down your podcast and whatnot, because that was the biggest thing going. And I think sometimes we have to look further, like you said, the whole eyes thing, we have to look further than that. And ultimately we're talking about like football here, but you have to look beyond football. Like if you're seeing someone that is creating jobs for the community and putting people on, etc., even if you don't agree with it, you have to understand the bigger picture of, okay, that means something that can be beneficial to someone around me soon. And I think community is everything. Like community is integral to everything I do. And I think having the support of your community is incredible. It means the world. But being understood by a community means so much more as well. And I think the reason why I love where we're at with the podcast as well is I think that they really understand what we are. Like so many people come up and will be like, the reason why I like what your guys are doing is because don't get me wrong, you get the fun and everything, but you also like keep it real with the analysis, etc. And anytime I hear that, I'm like, cool, thank God people realize that we're not trying to be this sort of like trolling thing or etc. We're actually trying to like give you the insights that you would get on your mainstream TV, but doing it in a way that relates to you. So I'm blessed to be in that position, and I'm blessed to sort of have that platform. And again, as you said with platforms, I don't take that lightly. I don't take the responsibility of it like lightly as well. Because again, some of the people that I could be speaking about saying how to have a bad performance, what if I'm saying that in a way that affects them even more? I'll be damned if I'm contributing to the mental stress of another young black footballer. Like it would really hurt me if I was doing that. So again, you have to be intentional and careful with the platform. And in Versus Land, one thing that I try to do a lot, especially when I have my interviews, I give the floor to players to speak about stuff that's important to them. And one thing that's happened a lot over the years is speaking about faith. When I did Bukayo Saka's 100th parents interview, we spoke about faith there. Jed Spence recently spoke about faith, and it's like giving people the opportunity to speak about things that typically they don't get to speak about in mainstream media. And it's one about having the space that fans can listen to, but the other side is giving that space to players as well.
And this is why God is amazing, because this was actually my last question that I was going to bring to you, and you've just put it into here. How difficult has it been when certain times you've got to not almost tiptoe around, but know that certain times our faith is not going to be welcomed in the space, and we have to sometimes feel like we have to dim it down, so to speak? I don't play them games.
I'm glad. I don't play them games. The way it stems for me is like I say this, and like I don't say in a way like dare it to happen, but I always say like, listen, I was wearing suits and working in corporate. I'll gladly go back if I'm no longer able to sort of serve the purpose of what I need to do. Because at the end of the day, like as I said at the beginning of this, like this will come and go. The purpose won't. So for me, I think it's super important to have those conversations, because going back to the whole being a footballer thing, like growing up, I remember seeing Kaka with like, you know, only God can judge me. Players on their knees thing. And I always used to think that, okay, like this was their ministry. Do you get what I'm coming from? Like they're using football as their ministry. And then I used to think to myself, well, if I play football, I want to do that. And then when the football thing wasn't working, it's like, raw, like what is my ministry? Like how can I do that? And what I then realized was being in this space where you're enabling players to speak about it.
Yeah.
That's your ministry.
100%.
That is literally your ministry. So like, big up Ballers in God, love John Bostock, love everything they're doing.
Big up Ballers in God. I'm actually part of that.
Yeah.
So,
and like, I love, what I really love about that is like the fact that it's footballers only, it makes so much sense because you have that safe haven that typically is not within the game. There's been so many interviews or clips I've done that they'll post up because it's like, again, so in terms of my ministry, I'm able to find something that works. I don't have to be on the pitch doing the sign of the cross, but I can elevate someone's voice and they can speak about it, and that might touch a young boy that's, you know, trying to figure stuff out, or a young girl. So that's why it's important for me. It's important because it showcases that there's other ways of finding your ministry, but also it enables these amazing individuals, these superheroes that we look at and like, oh my gosh, they mean so much, to also speak about these things as well, because it means a lot to them. Like we said that footballers often get classified as footballers' identity, but below that is really intelligent, intrinsic people that have so much to say and speak about. And behind a lot of them is their faith. Their faith is the only thing that's kept them sane. Their faith is the only thing that's kept them within the sport. Their faith is the only thing that even got them there through 100%. The injuries, through the doubts, and giving them the space to speak about that is a real privilege.
I wanted to, just before we go, you like something came to me. Obviously, Borders in God, obviously it's a community of footballers that come together, understand the environment, pray, do so much good. Like it's helped me in my journey.
Yeah.
Is there any other people that you work with that you kind of speak about with faith and stuff like that?
That's a great question. There's a lot of like creators that are very open with their faith, and I have conversations all the time. Like, you know, we were speaking about Best of Enemies.
Yeah.
Like I've spoken to KG a lot about
KG,
faith.
yeah.
Like, and it's nice because ultimately these are the people that are going through the same sort of trials and tribulations that you're going through. They're navigating the entertainment space whilst holding on. And it's like, okay, well, like, how do I make sure I don't compromise my beliefs and whatnot? And like, even like with our pod, so myself and Cam are Christian, Fuad's Muslim, but there's such a joint respect of everything. Like, one thing that we've always been on is like, we're not taking betting sponsors, and like the people that we work with understand it, because like ultimately it compromises. And when you're able to be in those sort of spaces where you can have those conversations, it means that you're able to be your best self. And I'm big on like, if you don't compromise, you can give the best to what you're doing. So no, there's a lot of people that I discuss things with, and funny enough, like I've had a lot of people come up to me, and it's something I don't take lightly, and it's like, you know what, maybe God, if that's still how you're going to work, then great. Where they'll be like, listen, I appreciate you, you know, speaking proudly about your faith, or I appreciate you, like, even if you're not like slapping scriptures here and there, like the fact that you're just representing and how you're representing, it means a lot. And
of course,
I'll be open to tell people that, listen, I say it all the time, I am not a perfect person. And Kerry, I've had this conversation with you in private where I feel like sometimes I have to sort of like, not murk your name, but you have to be like that, because people paint this picture and be like, oh my gosh, you're this and that.
No way.
Like,
no one's perfect.
I intentionally go out my way and be like, listen, trust me, it's not that. Like, I have flaws, I have shortcomings, but I just want, it's always about making people realize that that's fine. Like we are all trying. So yeah, there's a lot of people in the space I speak to, but big up KG. Like KG is like a real one. Jay Charm is someone, he does like more like skits and everything. It's not football. He's been really good for that. There's a guy called Gabriel Moses who is, oh my gosh, this guy's a titan. So he started off making football videos. He's now one of the biggest directors in the world. He's making music videos and whatnot. His love comes from football. We speak about faith all the time. He puts faith at the center of his work. So again, we speak about stuff like that as well. So yeah, no, it's beautiful to be in a space where you can openly speak about your faith. And again, as I said, it forms ministry. Because like my dreams were like, scoring a hat-trick against Arsenal and then doing the San Lorenzo in the corner like that. But that wasn't to be. But if I can speak on a podcast and say we thank God, because I'd have done a job on East Side as well, everything. But no, I'm glad, and like I said, it means a lot when people are like, that was encouraging, because it then makes you realize, okay, you're doing something, right?
So the last question that we have for you, bro, before we wrap up is, what advice would you give to someone that's struggling?
Wow. The advice I would give to someone that is struggling is that it's okay. I think sometimes there's such a pressure to have everything figured out, and there's beauty in the surrender.
Wow.
I often say, like, you can't be helped if you haven't like surrendered. You get where I'm coming from? Like someone can't. The process of being saved means that you're being taken away from something, and like, especially as like, if we're thinking about black men, like we've almost been conditioned to figure out stuff by ourselves. Like, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to lean on your tribe. And also, no one is a burden. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times my heart's broken where someone's been like, they don't want to have a conversation because they feel like they're a burden. This year alone, like we, one of my close friendships groups from like back home, we've done this thing where we started meeting up monthly and been super intentional with it. Because what I started to realize was a lot of us were going through the same things, but because no one was talking and everyone was just in the silos, we were like, bro, like, this person's going through, this person passing away and that, and it's like no one's actually speaking. So like my advice to someone that's suffering is, it's okay not to be okay. Like things do get better. Don't be against surrendering, because that's when someone's actually truly able to help you. And don't be afraid to talk either. Like, you just having that one action of opening up can enable someone, or just the right energy to be around you to help you. Like, I've had many a time like where I've refused, I've just suffered in silence, and eventually it hits the fan. Like I remember there was one moment I went to go and see my mum a few years back, and I was silent, and she asked me what's wrong. I burst into tears. Just everything just exploded, and everything came out. Like, the more we can support each other and be like, and take that one step, will be better. But also as well, I think it's about creating environments where that can happen too. Like being very conscious of knowing the people around you, being very intentional with checking in. So like, I know you said about sort of advice for someone that's suffering, but advice I'll give to everyone in general, and even if you're suffering or not, is you don't know how that one thing can help someone. You don't know how that have a nice day will help someone. You don't know how that waving at someone or just checking in, or I hope you're good, G, does for someone. So if you're suffering, it's okay, but at the same time, that one little action of something, of serving someone else, could be the antidote of someone suffering.
My bro, thank you so much for coming on, man. Like, listen,
thank you
this
for
has
having me.
been so dope, bro. And like, from away from the podcast as a brother, like I sent you a voice note about a month ago or something that, like, and I was very vulnerable with you. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and you don't realize what you done for me, bro. Because when I was in a really dark place, bro, like, you just didn't see me any other way. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, and it was at that point where certain times where you kept me going, bro. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's different, the love that I have for you, bro. I don't need to speak to you every day, bro. Sometimes some people don't know the significant roles that they play in somebody's life just by saying something that sticks with them and makes them want to still be here. So my bro, listen,
we're locked in for life.
Yeah,
bro.
come on, man. Come on. God's got locked in for life.
This is it, man.
But we didn't actually tell you about this, but we have a quiz at the end.
Hey.
So you may have seen it from the previous episode. So this is your time to show your football knowledge.
Let's go.
Miles,
Eesh,
you ready?
Pressure's on.
Yeah, look at Miles did a sigh. He did a sigh. Right, I've got 5 questions.
Sweet, let's
There's
go.
5 brief questions. They're all based on the Premier League, actually.
All right. Is there a time period on this, or
I'm gonna literally just give you like a couple a couple seconds to
Okay,
write
cool.
down your
Hey,
answers.
hey,
Okay, cool.
Yeah, a couple
No
of seconds.
favoritism
no,
today.
there's
Let's
no
go.
No
favoritism.
favoritism
Okay,
today.
let's go.
Chip
Moving on.
Carey. Yeah,
I don't have favoritism. I just you're my co-host. So if anything, it should be to you, right?
No.
All right, cool. First question. Which club has been relegated the most times for the Premier League?
In the, what? We're talking Premier League.
Premier League
yeah?
history.
Yeah. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Question 2.
Okay, cool. I thought it was
Oh,
reverse.
I should have explained it. So,
Okay,
so
cool,
this
cool,
is the
cool.
first question. Yeah.
All right, cool.
You got that answer?
Yeah, let me just
Question-
write it small up here.
Question 2. Which stadium hosted the first Premier League game
Oh my god.
back in 1992?
That man, I would never. I'm not gonna know this one.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult.
I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um,
Next question.
wait.
Who was the first goalkeeper to score in the Premier League? Number 3.
Oh, first goalkeeper.
Yeah.
That's a mad one.
I'm guessing as well.
Number 4. Which club had the Premier League's longest unbeaten home run?
Oh,
And number 5. Which player has scored the most Premier League own goals?
Ooh.
I know this one as well. I actually know this one. Why has it gone blank? Oh my gosh.
Don't be looking over at his answers. I saw you
Pressure.
looking over at his board. Don't be looking over at his board.
I'm thinking. Oh, wait a minute. Wait, no, I had
5,
one. No, you can't give me
4.
5.
3,
Ah.
2, 1. Okay,
I'm
cool.
gonna put-
Right.
All right, cool.
Let's swap boards, please.
Cool.
Miles, would you stop writing, please? The exam is
Wait,
finished.
wait,
No,
wait,
wait,
finish.
no. I couldn't care less. We're deducting a point even if you get it wrong. Even if you get it right. Look at it. This is terrible. And you're supposed to...
Don't worry about the spelling. Some of them are. You know what I'm saying?
All right, cool.
I didn't write man's name, but
Well,
I
okay,
know
cool.
I know his face. I can see it.
The first question was, which
Oh.
club has been relegated the most times from the Premier League? The answer is Norwich City.
How many
6
times?
times.
Okay, cool.
I'll put
Right.
Burnley.
I'll put Southampton.
Okay, cool. Second question, which stadium hosted the first Premier League game? It was Bramall Lane.
Oh,
Sheffield United versus Manchester United when Brian Dean scored the first.
I got the wrong one. I was like, it's Sunderland or Sheffield. I put the wrong one. All right, cool.
What goalkeeper scored the first goalkeeper to score in the Premier League? Peter Schmeichel.
Yeah, you got that one. You got that one still.
Oh, what? Yeah. Do you know what?
still.
I just guessed.
Yeah.
I swear I didn't know that. I just guessed that one.
Which club had the Premier League's longest unbeaten run? Obviously, it's Chelsea.
Yeah.
Home unbeaten run.
You said had. I was like, is that a trick question?
Yeah.
I tried to, yeah. And then the last question, which player has scored the most Premier League own goals? The answer is Richard Dunn.
See, I put Man City done. I knew it. I could see his face. Yeah, tick that. Man City done.
Remember I said about favoritism?
No, of course.
Remember I
No,
said about
but you were getting it
favoritism?
anyway because you what do you call it?
I didn't have it anyway,
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you can have it.
Yeah.
It's a draw.
Okay,
man.
so girl. Okay, so
I was like, I could see his face.
I've got a tiebreaker question.
Do you know what I was thinking of? Old centre backs.
Yeah.
I didn't even like. I just thought I didn't know
I could
who it was.
see his face.
Yeah.
It's the Man City done. He scored better.
All right, cool. Right. What we're gonna do now is literally I'll say the question and then all you've got to do, you upset Mars.
No, I'm not. I told you about the favoritism thing, anyway.
Do you think it was favoritism? He said Man City done.
No,
Like,
Man City done.
We take
done.
those.
No,
Done. He said Man City done.
It said done.
Oh, is it done?
It said done.
Oh, I thought he said done. I thought Man City done.
Done.
Oh, snap.
Who's
Whoa,
done? Who's
whoa.
the Man City done? I don't know
No,
that.
'cause he said- I thought he said done, as in Richard Dunn.
No,
Man
no,
City's
no,
done.
No, done. The
Oh,
done. The Man
sugar.
City done.
Oh no, man said done. Oh, that's, you know what? Okay,
That's a
cool.
VAR
Yeah,
bluff,
it's a VAR. It's a VAR, but
Play on.
we're good. Okay, cool.
That's funny.
Right. All right. The bonus question is.
You didn't say what we need to do for it. What? Raise a hand or?
Yeah. Whoever says their name first to answer it.
Okay.
So
Cool.
put their name up. Put their hand up.
Yeah, no, just shout your name. Okay. Julius can help me, please.
Oh,
Yeah.
shout the name. The answer.
Shout your name.
Okay,
Shout
cool.
your name, and then I'll let you answer
Okay,
it. Yeah.
cool.
So you have to shout your name. Yeah. Who scored the fastest Premier League goal?
Miles. Shane Long.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's
a good one. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I like it.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
You see what's the favoritism though? You know what I'm saying?
No, I thought you said
I'm not gonna lie. After this, I'm going on YouTube to see who Man City Don is. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know who the Man City Don is.
I thought he meant Dunn, as in Richard Dunn, bro. Like, no, you smashed it. I thought he meant Dunn, as in Richard Dunn.
What are the odds of writing something so specific?
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's true.
That's crazy.
Too funny.
No, brother, listen, thank you for coming on,
Thanks
man.
for having me. I appreciate it, bro.
Appreciate you.
Right, and people out there, like, if you are struggling and you are going looking for support and everything like that, like Mayowa said, like, reach out to a community, man. Like, this is what the power of football does. Football is a space where we can all watch and we can enjoy the men and the women's game, but there's also places that you can actually find, that communities that you can find within football. So if you are struggling, obviously you've got our mental health resources on our website as well. But like I say, don't be afraid to talk to your people. You're never a burden, and I promise you, I've said this on many occasions, like people would rather hear your stories thousands and times over and over of what you're going through rather than attend your funeral once. I promise you. So at the end of it, I'm Kerry Phillips.
I'm Miles Weston.
And this is the Set Piece Podcast.
If you've been affected by anything discussed in this episode, we encourage you to seek support. Visit our mental health resources page at www.thesetpiecepodcast.com for help, guidance, and more information. Because when it comes to mental health, every mind deserves extra time.